So class is starting now. Welcome to Yoga Playground. My name is Tony, if you don't know me, or T-Man as some call me. Thursday's class tends to be a little bit more upper body focused, and this class in general has more of a strength outlook. It might be a little harder for some people than what they're used to. A lot of relaxing yoga here on Twitch. But do the best that you can. You don't need to do everything that I say. Always modify if you need to. If you're joining me and you're just watching from your desk, I'll try to shout out when movements are applicable to you sitting in a chair. And this is a playful class, interactive. I'll try to be catching up on chat as much as possible if you have any questions or comments. And like I said, I'll be saying hello to my lovely people on Zoom here that I can see and watch. So let's get it started. As you can see, I'm sitting on a block to elevate my hips. Blocks aren't required, but they can be helpful. If you don't have a block, you can use a folded blanket, a pillow, just making yourself comfortable here. All right. Let's sit up nice and tall, hands on the thighs. If you're sitting in your chair, you can do this as well. Let's close the eyes and feel a tall posture here. Imagine the crown of the head being magnetized towards the ceiling. You can visualize the space in between each of those vertebrae, opening up more space. And as we settle into this stillness here, we'll draw attention to the breath. Breathing in, nice and long. Feel yourself filling into the belly in all directions like a filling balloon. And exhale nice and long. Inhaling. And exhaling. Taking the time to slow down the breath, breathing in. And breathing out. And keep that going. And as much as it feels comfortable for you, see how long you can stretch out the inhale and the exhale. Some of you may know a specific type of breathing. In yoga, it's called Ujjayi breath. And it's a small constriction of the throat. Imagine the type of feeling when you're fogging a mirror. It's that same type of action, both breathing out and breathing in. I think Grace Yoga calls it the Darth Vader breath. So it creates an audible sound, but it also slows down the inhale and the exhale so that we can really bask in that slow breath cycle. And when we do that, we're kind of calming the nervous system down. Good. Feel free to keep the eyes closed if you desire. We're taking the shoulders into this nice slow roll. So up towards the ears, back and down. Take it nice and slow. You can do this in your chair if you're sitting. If there's any pain in any movements that we do today, first we just back off a little bit and see if that helps. If there's still discomfort or pain, we can just pause or modify, right? You never need to force anything. I will cue sometimes squeezing actions, creating muscular tension in specific areas, but it doesn't mean to force your body into positions there. Good. New achievement, willpower unlocked. Very good. Let's come back to center here. Arms reach out to a T. Close hands into fist. Again, you can do this in your chair. We're turning the right fist down and the left fist up. And rotating in through there. As we inhale, come back through center, unwinding. Exhale in the other direction. Left fist turns down, right fist turns up. So we imagine our arms as one big wet towel, and we're wringing out that towel. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, wind up. Sapphire, I'll get your info from Beachen. I'll send you. Or you can send me a whisper through Twitch. There's like a DM function within Twitch. Good. Let's come back to center here. These little bent elbow circles, we do these a lot in class. It just feels really good. Again, you can do this in your chair. You may need to scooch forward to the front edge of your seat. We're going to take thumbs and attach them to the tops of the shoulders here. If you've been in my class, you know we're taking these elbows for a swim. If chickens could swim, this is what it would look like. I don't know. Do chickens swim? Can they swim? I don't know. What the cluck? I don't know. Let's reverse it. Oh yeah, if you're new here, puns, cringeworthy puns are to be expected. We're going backwards, and we're not just kind of phoning this movement in. Here's an example where we want to add a little bit of squeeze. We want to emphasize the size of this circle. We're going to come back to this kind of shape here in a little bit. Nice. Let's get a little rotation through the spine. So we come back to center. We inhale. Reach the arms up tall. As you exhale, let's rotate to the right. So the left hand comes across the body to, excuse me, I've got the hiccups right now. Comes over to that right thigh there. Right hand is behind you. Inhale, see if you can sit a little taller here, and as you exhale, maybe you find a little bit more rotation. Now we include the neck. The neck is part of the spine, so you can look over your right shoulder to have that rotation go all the way up. And then I can see all you people on my side view cam. Hello. Good. Let's inhale. Coming back up, unwinding, we reach the arms to the sky. Exhale. Let's go over to the other side. Twist on through to the other side. So again, we use the inhale to sit taller. Exhale draws us a little deeper into the twist. Option here, if it feels okay in your body, we can look over the left shoulder. Breathing in. Breathing out. Taking note here that as we're twisted through the body, maybe a little bit more difficult to get a full breath in, or as full of a breath in. Good. Inhale, reach up, come back to center here. Exhale, bring the hands down in front of you, and we'll roll onto all fours. Getting the spine moving here. We inhale, arch. Exhale, we're rounding the spine here. This is our cat-cow in yoga. We're just articulating the spine. Inhale, feel that arching sensation. And then once you're at your end point, you can maybe squeeze a little bit more out of it. I try to imagine dragging the heels and the heels of the palms and the knees closer to each other. And exhale, we push down and away through the floor to really get that rounding here. Inhale, big arch. And exhale. Now, if you're sitting in a chair, you can definitely do this. Hands on the thighs. We inhale. I'll try to do this seated. We inhale, send the chest forward, looking up. And exhale. Try to send the mid-back, the back of the rib cage, to touch the back of your chair and look down towards your belly button. Definitely doable in a chair. Okay. If you want to take this a little more freestyle here, you know I like to get weird with it. We take it side to side, forward and back, any combination of movements or limbs here. Hey, Pumpkin Panda. Sup, sup, sup. Yeehaw. All right, let's bring it back to center here. We're in our tabletop shape. Hands directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips. Reach your your right arm straight out in front of you. Thumb up to the sky, so much so that you see your arm disappear out of your peripheral vision. Then that left foot kicks back behind you. Reach through the heel and try to get as long through the right fingertips and the left heel that you possibly can. Now, if you're in a chair, you can just do the arm overhead position here. Feel the strength of your shoulder, the muscles behind the shoulder here. We're breathing. It's up high. It's up high. Hey, Deneve, welcome. Namaste. Yes, please. You haven't missed much. We've just done our seated stuff. Last breath in here. And we'll exhale, lower that right hand down. Let's do the same thing on the left arm. So left arm is straight, reaches up, thumb towards the sky. Reach back through the right heel. So again, feel your left fingertips, feel your right heel. Imagine they're in a tug of war, being pulled apart here. Get as long as you can. You might even feel a subtle scooping out of the low belly, as if you're trying to push your belly button up towards the sky. Pumpkin, everything is going well. I did some work on my stream and my stream deck. Feeling accomplished. Breathing in. Breathing out. We've got one more breath here in this shape. Inhale. And exhale. Very nice. Let's lower those limbs here. Let's sit back into our child's pose. Knees wide, hips sit back, arms reach out in front of you. We're a little bit more active with the arms. So we're reaching fingertips forward. That's going to pry the forearms off of the floor. There's a little bit of downward pressure. Takes a bit more effort, just a little bit. But now we get that stretch that opens up in the lat, right under the armpits here. You're just lurking a bit. Nice. Please, lurk away. Nothing wrong with lurking here on this channel. Good. Let's come into our downward facing dog. If you need to know what it looks like, there you go. On the screen there, you'll see. We're going to curl the toes under. DFD. And we're coming into that downward facing dog. So our inverted V shape here. We are in DFD. Feel the fingers spreading wide here. You may notice that you have a little space between parts of your palm and the floor. Try to flatten that out. Knees can bend a little bit more here so that you can prioritize reaching up through the tailbone. Head and chest pushing through the arms. And the more we bend the knees, especially if you have tight hamstrings, the more bend we allow in the knees, the more we're going to be able to get through the arms. Maybe you're pedaling out your feet here. One more breath in this shape. Nice. Good. Let's inhale. Come forward into your plank. We're going to lower down onto our forearms. So we're in a forearm plank position here. You can walk feet together. Doop, doop, doop. And try to have your arms parallel to each other, or I should say your forearms parallel to each other. And from here, we're just going to notice that we can sink down towards the floor and then push ourselves away. Let's try that a couple of times. We're going to inhale, kind of droop the chest towards the floor, and as you exhale, forearms push down, and we feel the shoulder blades spread across the back. We're getting protraction and retraction of the scaps. If you're like, wait, did he just say Latin stuff? Is he speaking another language? Don't even worry about it. We just feel the shoulder blades come together and push away. Inhale. Shoulder blades come together, squeeze together, and exhale. Push away there. One more time. And exhale. Let's lower the knees to the floor. Let's come into our puppy pose this time. So just a slight variation from child's pose that we were just in. Shift your hips up so that the thighs are vertical, and then walk your hands forward. We're here a lot. It's nice. It gives us a little bit of spinal extension, or that arching shape of the back. We're looking to flatten that chest and chin to the floor. It's okay if it doesn't get there. Arms are going to be active here. As we press into the palms, that's really the only thing in connection here, ideally. And that downward pressure of the hands pushing down and the chest reaching down gives us all this nice shoulder opening here. I like it. Walk the hands back under you here. We are in our all fours, but we're shifting back to downward facing dog. Breathing, and we're breathing here. Let's walk those feet forward. We're going to be in that forward fold at the top of the mat. Let the head and the arms hang and dangle. Some of you may like grabbing for the opposite elbows. That's an option here. I think it feels really nice to give the head a shake, yes, or a nod, yes, and a shake, no. A little harder when you have a headset mic on, but getting it done. Good. Let's inhale. Bring the hands to the shins. Lift halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Like a mouthful of marbles there. Inhale, arms sweep up. We come up to standing, arms reach tall. And exhale, arms alongside the body. We'll go through a couple of sun salutation A's. It's just a combination of movements. We'll do it 2, maybe even 3 times so you can kind of get the hang of it. First time it might feel like it's going fast, but we'll get the hang of it as we do consecutive rounds. We inhale. Big sweep of the arms, reaching tall. Exhale, fold forward. On your inhale, the hands come to the shins. We're arching that back there. And as you exhale, bend the knees enough to plant hands. We're going to step into our plank. If you know a full vinyasa, you can do that. Otherwise, you can follow along. We're going to drop the knees to the floor, then the chest and the chin, but keep the booty up in the air. On your inhale, use the hands to drag yourself forward. Belly and thighs will flatten, but the chest lifts. This is Cobra. And we exhale, push back to downward facing dog. And a couple of breaths here. Use this time to slow things down. Breathing in, breathing out. What does it feel like to use your breath to calm? Last breath here. Very nice. So we're looking forward. We're going to hop the feet forward, or like I'm doing, I'm just going to walk the feet to the top of the mat. As you inhale, hands come to the shins. We're lifting halfway up. Exhale, refold. The inhale draws us up. Arms open wide, then reach tall. And exhale, arms alongside the body. So there's one. We're going to do that 2 more times. Now you're kind of getting the pace of things. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bend the knees to plant your hands on the floor. You can hop feet back or just like I'm doing, stepping back. If you know full chaturanga, up dog, you can do that. Otherwise, again, I'm taking a more modified knees lower, then chest and chin drop between the hands. Keep the elbows in tight. Inhale, everything slides forward and lifts up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really starting to feel that upper body, the shoulders, the upper back. Feel your arms press the floor away. And we breathe. 2 more breaths here. Nice full inhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. And you'll hear me exhaling through the mouth. Ideally, we want to try to breathe through the nose as much as we can. Sometimes I just use the breath through the mouth as an audible cue or reminder to some of you. But ideally, we're going to try to breathe through the nose here. Making our way back to the top of the mat, you can step forward. I'm going to demo that hop forward. So I lift my heels, bend the knees, look forward, and like a spring, bing, onto the top. We inhale. Body lifts halfway up. We're arching that spine. Folding with the exhale. And we inhale, arms reach tall. Exhale, arms alongside the body. Our third time here. Hopefully we're getting into the groove of things. You're finding the rhythm of your breath and the movement together as one. That's vinyasa. Inhale, big reach. Oh, hey. Thank you, Band Slam. I appreciate that. Exhale, forward fold. Hello. And then as you exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. You can hop it back or step it back. Now we've taken that knees, chest, chin twice. I'm going to demo the more full variation here. Chaturanga is forward, halfway down, like the bottom of a push-up. We inhale, straighten the arms, lift the chest. And exhale, downward facing dog. Welcome. Band Slam 33, I appreciate the follow and welcome. Feel free to join in or watch from your chair. It's all good. Two more breaths to slow things down. Feel the heat that's building. See if we can use that breath to calm that down. Finding steadiness and ease. Wonderful. We're going to make our way to the top of the mat. You can walk it forward or you can try that pounce like we did. I raise the heels. I bend the knees. I load up like a spring and boing. Hey, big CJ, welcome, welcome. Yep, yoga time. I'm teaching a full class here. Feel free to join in. We inhale, lifting halfway up. Folding forward. Use the inhale to come all the way up to standing. And exhale, arms alongside the body. Very good. Let's take a big step back with the left foot. We're going to be in kind of a high lunge stance here. And we're going to take those thumbs, again, just like we did when we started today, seated. Hopefully you can see me clearly on this side cam. Now, from this position, we're gonna imagine that our thumbs are tracing the armpit. So I'm gonna try to make a circle around my armpits as tight as I can. Once I get down to my armpits, I'm gonna get as low as possible. See if I can knuckle bump myself. I'm gonna turn this way so you can see it. Knuckle bump. As high up the spine as you can get. Then we disengage. Thumb again traces the armpit. We come up to the top of the shoulder now, and again we try that knuckle bump, this time behind the head. Feel the muscles between the shoulder blades squeezing tight. Let's do that twice more on this side. Disengage that knuckle bump. Thumbs trace the armpit. And back. So there's that knuckle bump. I'm feeling that squeeze. We're in internal rotation of the shoulder. Disengage. Tight journey around the shoulders. Let me see how you're doing on Zoom there. Beautiful. Yes, you'll feel muscles, and I'm going to do it tight and close to the camera so you can see it a little better. So I'm drawing, I'm like following the stitching of my shirt. And as high as I can, get that knuckle bump. Tracing that shoulder again. Trying to knuckle bump behind the head. We got it? Good. Sweet. All right. Let's let those shoulders drop, shake them out. Let's straighten through that front leg. We'll get a little bit of a front leg stretch here. Hands are on the hips, steering the hips into straight alignment here. Imagine you've got headlights out of your hip bones. Whoosh, they're pointing straight forward. Inhale, get tall through the spine. As you exhale, we can hinge forward. So I've got my back heel lifted here. Some of you might prefer to drop that heel down at a 45. Now you can hold here. This takes more effort, but if you want a little bit of a break, hands can rest on the shins, or if you have yoga blocks, those can be really helpful here. Yeah, Big CJ, kind of different from the work I was doing when you first came into my channel. I think I was doing some lifting and splits training and stuff like that. I have a softer side as well, although this is kind of strength-based yoga. One more breath in this shape. Try to keep your spine long. Lift it. Different. It's all good though, right? Moving the body in whatever way. It's a full spectrum of stuff. Good. Let's lower that back knee to the floor. So you might need to rebend into your front leg. Back knee lowers down. Now we're going to start with the knee on the floor, but if you want to ramp this up, feel free to lift that back knee. So the left hand finds its place down on the floor here. Maybe you have a block to bring the floor up a little bit higher. I'll demo with, so if you have a block, you know what I'm talking about. Very nice, very nice. So what I'm doing here is I'm opening that right arm up towards the sky. And breathing. If you want a little bit more of a challenge or some more work through the legs, boom, that back knee just lifts up, and that'll do it for you. Now, if our arm is at a 12 o'clock position, I'm going to exhale, turn my palm to the floor as I bring that arm up overhead, in line with the body there. You used to do yoga, nice. What kind of yoga did you practice? So let's inhale, come back up to the T, and exhale, turn the palm away from you. Maybe you scratch that itch on your back, right? And so that's our flow. We inhale, straighten the arm, exhale, palm to the sky. So we're focusing on the shoulder. If you need to take it easy on the lower body, always an option to keep that knee down. Okay? Breathing in, coming back to center, exhaling, going overhead. We'll do 2 more of these. Ooh, yoga with Adrienne is awesome. She is so good. I have a secret yoga crush on her, although now it's not so much secret. It's on the internet now. Breathing in, come up. Yeah, she's lovely. She's got awesome classes on YouTube. Nice. Inhale, reach that arm to the sky. Exhale, we're going to bring both hands down to the floor. Now, what we're doing from here is a little bit of a side bend. I'm going to rotate 180 so you can see this a little bit better. So here we were just doing some stuff. What I'm going to do is straighten my back leg, bring my right foot about halfway down the mat. Straighten the back leg, drop that left hip to the floor. And you can see I'm in a position that looks a little something like this. There you go, Gina, you got it. And we're pushing down through the arm here. We're going to do a little side body movement here. If you need to, you can take it more mellow. You'll get just as much work out of the core, I promise, if you come down onto your forearm. So let's all start on the forearm. If you want to make it harder, we'll go to a full arm, shall we? That arm that was just doing a big arcing motion is going to do something similar in this shape. Here's what we've got. Take that right arm. We inhale, lift that arm up. As the arm comes up overhead, we're going to lift the hips. I'm making a rainbow motion through the arms. And as I come up and overhead, I trapped myself into a corner here. As I come up and overhead and try to touch that hand, that right hand to the floor, I really get the lift of the hips, and that's being done by the obliques, these side ab muscles. And then we exhale, lower down. We'll do a few of these, 5 to maybe 100. I kid. And exhale, let's lower down. So much harder movement as we go do this from the straight arm position, because we have a lot longer to lift. So these kind of side body rainbows. Nice. No, but Adrian has awesome yoga on YouTube, and for free. It's great. It's an awesome resource. I'm going to do maybe one more of these. If you're already done, you're just waiting for me. Totally fine. Very nice. Let's bring the hands down, shift back to center, and we can just rest in a child's pose for a moment. I got to move my mat. Tends to move around. Stream down? Really? Hopefully not. I even went out and got an Ethernet cable. I am hardwired into this today. All of you Zoomies are, on Zoom I'm good. Twitch, maybe dropping some frames. Hopefully not. Oh, okay, Twitch is hiccuping. That's okay, we'll be back in a moment. That happened on Tuesday, but I got an Ethernet cable to remedy that, and apparently it did not work. Okay, we're going to feel all that good, juicy shoulder stuff on the other side. Let's do it. So let's come forward into tabletop, exhale back into downward facing dog. Oh, there we go. Okay. Welcome back if you were watching on Twitch. Very weird. I am hardwired in today, so that's odd that it went down. And my internet is pretty stable here. Don't usually have problems. So from down dog, let's tiptoe our feet forward. We're at the top of the mat. We're going to get into the other side. Inhale, lifting halfway up. Exhale, lowering down. Oh. Inhale to come all the way up, arms reaching wide and tall. Exhale, arms alongside the body. Okay, so this time the right foot steps back. We're in this high lunge position in that our front leg is bent, back leg is straight. We're going to do a little bit of a different pattern. This one was a little bit more active, that kind of tracing of the armpit. This next one is going to be a little bit more passive, might feel juicy. You can do this one in a chair. Everything from the waist up will apply to you. So arms down by your sides, away from the body with the palms facing forward. If not, you can continue to turn outward if you don't lose your balance there. I'm going to take my right hand, reach it across my body, halo over my head, and bring it out. Right, going slowly here. I'm going to take my left arm, reach it up across the body, circling my head, and bringing that hand down. Hey, used puck bag, welcome. I know who you are. Thanks for joining on Twitch. So we're coming up and around. Good to see you, John. And down, right? We'll just do about three to four of these on each side. Going slow, and feel free to add in a little bit of an upper body side bend as you do this action as well. I didn't really cue the breath on this one. We're going to inhale and exhale as the arm straightens. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more since we're dialed into that breath cycle. Inhale. So as I swoop around, I'm actually inhaling into the left ribs here. Exhale, arms straightens. Last one. Sailor Daro, it's back up for you now. Just had to adjust the quality. Thank you for the patience there on Twitch. I don't know why it went out. I'm hardwired today. All right, hands to the hips. We're going to straighten that front leg. That one feels really good because we're getting some movement not only through the shoulder, but through the shoulder blade as well. Coming up into our pyramid, we're straightening that leg with hands on the hips so that we can steer those hips forward. Feel free to keep your back heel up or drop down to a 45-degree angle. If you've got blocks, they're going to come in handy here in just a moment. We inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. I'm keeping that spine long. If you're feeling strong today, we just hold our body in this shape. If you need a little bit more assistance with no blocks, hand can be down on the shin. If you have blocks, I like level 3 to bring them up. Wherever you are, try to straighten that spine a bit. Lurk, got to start dinner. Cool. What are you making? I'm sure we'll hear about it. I'll ask you at post class in the Q&A. Breathing here, even if it's feeling tough, see what you can do to tap into that breath and calm yourself. Easier said than done, but it is a practice. Good. Let's bend into the left knee, that front leg. Drop that back knee down below you. We're going to do some of those twists with some active arm work. Right hand comes down to the inside of the left foot, either on the floor or I'm going to use a block so that you can see how we use that to bring the floor up to you. If you're curious about blocks, I've got some links down in my About Me section if you're looking to get some equipment. So just like before, if you want to ramp it up, back leg can be lifted here as that left arm reaches up. I'm going to take it easy today, and you might as well. We are dropping that back knee on the ground. So the palm is forward. We're going to in-breath. Exhale, rotate the palm to face the floor as you bring that arm up overhead. Inhale, back up. Exhale, turn the palm behind you or away from you as you go to kind of scratch that low back. Inhale, straighten the arm back to that 12 o'clock position, and exhale. Just going with the rhythm of your breath. We're always inhaling back to that 12 o'clock position. Riding the rhythm of your breath. It is the rhythm of the breath. Nope. I need that sound effect on my board here. 2 more times. You might even feel sore in your shoulders after this. Especially if you're kind of creating your own internal tension. I think about moving your body through molasses. You can create your own tension within your body. I don't know, kittens, if you're still here or not, is if there is a term or an idea that exists in the martial arts. Good, let's bring that hand down to the floor. I'm going to move my block out of the way. I'm going to get a little bit of water before we go into those side body stretches here. We'll take that left foot, or that front leg, if you were on another side, and we're going to position it about halfway down your mat. I'm straightening that back leg, dropping the hip, that right hip onto the floor, and then we'll all start on the forearm. If you want to make it harder, what's coming up, we can just come on to the full, that full arm here. This also gives you more of a side body stretch, so if you tend to have more flexibility, this could be really nice. But in terms of the oblique work that we get out of this movement, you'll get plenty of it if you're doing this on the forearms. So with that back leg long, I've got downward pressure into the floor and the outer edge of the foot. Left hand is down, reaching for that back heel. As we inhale, arm rainbows up, and then over. It's trying to touch the floor, and to do that, to even come close, we have to lift the hips for that to happen. Good, and exhale. We'll inhale, big arch. Breathe it out, lower the hips. And maybe 2, 3 more. I'll leave it to you. You can finish earlier if you need. Hopefully we're feeling the work of not only the shoulders to keep you propped up here, but also these obliques, the side of your abs here. Last one here. Wonderful. Let's bring the hands to the floor. Let's shift into our child's pose here. Another variation for your child's pose is to bring the elbows a little closer to the midline. Palms come together in prayer, and we bend the elbows. We get a larger tricep stretch as we bring the thumbs towards the back of the neck. Good. We're just going to be slowing things down here today. Let's bring your hands back to the floor. Inhale up to our all fours position. We're going to do a nice little passive twist. On your inhale, reach your right arm to the sky, open the chest. On your exhale, thread that arm underneath the body, and then you can land on the back of the shoulder here. Some of you may even be able to get that right cheek or ear to the floor. And just breathe. There's a variation for some of you that you can walk that left hand forward out in front of you. You can see it in both camera angles here. And again, I'm using that exhale out of the mouth just as a reminder, but we're trying to breathe through our nose as best we can. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Left hand comes under you. If it was reaching out, we come back to top position. Let's go to the other side. We inhale, reach up through left arm. Exhale, thread underneath. If you did so on the other side, that right hand can walk up and overhead. I'm even using the fingertips to tent the upper body, or I should say tent the palm, so that I get a little bit more of an added stretch out of my right side. Bring that right hand back underneath you, coming back to our all fours. We'll cross the shins behind you so we can sit the heels back and then over the heels so that we can come to seated. Okay, let me just adjust my mat really quick. Come into a nice forward fold. Now, if you're a little tighter in the hamstrings, feel free to elevate your hips That's going to make this forward fold just a little bit more accessible. We'll inhale, reach the arms up tall. Exhale, forward fold. Now you don't have to get to your feet to get the advantages of this movement. You can always grab for behind the thighs, the calves. You can grab onto your ankles here. If you really, really want to get to your feet, you can bend into the legs a little bit and connect. But if we're doing that, we're going to lift the chest and try to kick the feet out into the hands there. So even though I've got bent knees, or I should say, even though I can keep my legs straight and reach my feet, if I bend my knees, connect to my feet, and work on lifting the chest, I can still get that nice hamstring stretch by manipulating, I almost said manipulating, by manipulating the spine and therefore the pelvis too. Good. Let's inhale to come up. As we do so, bring the knees into the chest with you and let those knees open out wide. Face it this way. So I'm connecting either around the tops of the feet here. Maybe you like to grab for the big toes, and you can pull into it. I like a little book opening variation. I'm going to clasp the tops of my feet, and I'm opening the soles of the feet as if I'm reading a book. That gives me a little bit more opening here. We're not bouncing the legs here. We're feeling a static opening. We can add to the intensity, again, by drawing that chest bone forward out in front of you. I don't even need to hinge forward. That action of lifting the chest gave me the intensity through the groin in this Baddha Konasana. It's a bound angle pose. And what you can't see externally is that I'm actually trying to squeeze my knees down towards the floor. Right? I'm opening them down. Beautiful. Let's take this into a reclined position here. So with feet still in that same shape, we lie back. Just make sure there's nothing behind you. No objects or pets, Gina. I know how Tai Lung always likes to sit in the worst positions. We've got a hand on the chest, hand on the belly. Letting gravity open the thighs here. We don't need to work. If it's too intense, if gravity is just a little bit too much here, you can use your hands to support some of the weight of the thighs, or you can place blocks underneath or pillows. Just wedge them in there so you can feel the stretch, but it's not too much. Sometimes when we go into stretches too deeply without any support, we actually... Smurf Jazz, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome. So sometimes when we're in a deep stretch and it's unsupported, our body acts to protect us by tightening up. So sometimes adding a little bit of support can help us open up into a stretch. Tuliter, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. We're just finishing up our yoga class, but I will stick around for about another hour and answer questions, talk about poses, or any number of things. We're going to use those hands to help scoop the knees up so that we don't have to use the muscles that we were just asking to stretch. And we come up to that top position here. Let's do a little hip-focused spinal twist today. If you have a variation that you prefer, by all means, you can go into that. So we're going to take that right leg up and over. If you're watching and you're sitting in your chair, you can just get this nice hip stretch without the twist simply by setting your right ankle over your right knee, flexing the toes, and hinging over your thigh, right? Kind of rounding over this leg. If you're following along and you're down on your back, we're going to take that right foot, sole of the foot, drop it down towards the floor. You can see here my shin is vertical. And if you see in the side cam, you can see how my body is twisted a little bit. I've actually got my shoulders flush with the floor, but the hips have rotated open. And I'm using the active knee opening to my advantage to get a little bit of spinal twist, but I'm feeling a nice stretch out of the hip there. Just kind of winding things down before our Shavasana. Welcome all the newcomers. We've got some new people in the class today. It's been a pleasure to have you here. We do these classes Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. All levels. You can lurk if you want. You can interact. It's all good. Let's go to the other side here. We're coming up, setting that right foot back down onto the floor. Other side here. So we're setting up that left ankle, on top of the right thigh. Flexed toes help to keep the knee protected here. And again, if you're doing this in your chair, right, we just throw that left ankle up and over, and we're going to fold over that leg there. Okay, make sure to keep those toes flexed. If you're down on the ground, we're taking this into our rotation here. Just lower the left sole of the foot down to the floor, keeping the shoulders flat on the ground there. Did I miss anything in chat there? Tulater, yes, I like that. Hi. Hello there. Activity feed. So good. I'd love to hear about some of you new people, what you guys are working on in yoga, fitness, health, mindset, what you're cooking for dinner. We talk about it all. Good. So we'll come out of this twist and prepare for our final Shavasana here. If you're new to yoga, this is the final resting pose in almost all of the classes here. Yes, Subu, you got to take off. Thank you so much. It was nice to see you. Have a great day. Have a good weekend, too. We'll see you next week. All right, so we're laying down. Legs extended out long, arms down alongside the body. If you're sitting in your chair, feel free to just consider this like a brief seated meditation. We'll close the eyes and let the body settle into stillness. Whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable here. If you're lying on your back and your low back feels a little tense, wedging a prop underneath the knees can really help. Even just a little bit. It changes the angle of the pelvis and can take off some of that intensity there. So we're breathing here. Not those big conscious breaths that we started with per se. Here we can let go of that conscious breath and simply step back and watch the body breathe how it wants to breathe. If you've been taking nice big conscious breaths through the class, you may find it interesting to see how little the body needs right now. Feeling your body becoming heavy as we allow the floor or the chair to support us. We don't need to hold on to any of that tension here. We can just let it go. And we're just here for a few moments. We begin to deepen our breath once more. Feeling the fingers and toes beginning to move. The wrists and the ankles. Sort of like when we're waking up in the morning, we're slowly introducing movement into the bodies. Movement coming into the elbows and into the knees. We'll take the arms, reach them up overhead. Take a big breath in here. Open your mouth, stick your tongue out. Good, we'll do that one more time. Inhale, big stretch, nice and long. We'll bring the knees into the chest, which allows your body to roll towards one side. And we'll come up to a seated position. We're going to finish today with 3 rounds of the Om chants. You can join in, or you can just enjoy the sounds. I'm going to use my Shruti box. A new instrument has arrived. Okay. So with the chant here, you could do this sitting on the floor or sitting at your desk. Hands can be on the thighs, or they can be in prayer. We've got 3 distinct parts of the sound. Ah, oo, mm. And as we go through those different shapes, we'll notice that vibration starting in the chest, going up to the throat, finishing in the skull here in our resonant chambers. So we'll take one breath cycle before we begin, and then we'll do our 3 consecutive rounds. Let's breathe in here. Breathe everything out. Inhale for our first Om. Thank you so much for being here today, whether you were taking class or just following along, maybe you were just lurking. I appreciate it all. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste.